So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about a concept that is very much related to success, but not completely. And the reason why I didn't put success on the title is because so many people have definitions of success that kind of might not make them click on this video. This is for the people who are just going through life and often struggle or stress out about a lot of things. And I'm gonna use a good example. Like, I've got a few examples here that I've thought about that will be able to expand on this concept. It's about getting the thing, and when I'm talking about getting the thing, I'm talking about achieving the success, or sometimes when we compare ourselves, thinking about how other people are making more money, for example, or how other people already are married and we're single, things like this. All right, so let's begin. So the first example is gonna be work, and when I'm talking about it never being about getting the thing, I want it to be understood that it's a lot deeper than that. When I'm talking about getting the thing, for me, I always strive to think about the long-term game. It's never been about, at least now I realize, or I understand through the various disciplines that I put myself through, is that it's never been about getting the thing. It's never been about achieving the success. It's never about making the money. It's never been about that. And a lot of people are going to mention this, something along the lines of it always being about the journey. It's about the process, enjoying the process. So with this video, I'm going to help you understand how you can enjoy the process and things that have conclusions that I've made in my life that will help you in your life. So like I said, work. The first example with work is money. Um, I work as a server assistant or a support to the server slash busser at my restaurant, and there's a point system that we have. We operate through a tip portal, so out of the tips that the servers are tipped, we all get paid from that, and so the servers don't walk out with all the tips they make, and through those tips they get distributed with the back of the house, which is the kitchen, with also the front of the house being the supports and also the hosts. And sometime early on when I got there, I heard that the hosts were making the same amount or more than the supports, and in tips, because there's a point system. So supports get a certain amount of points, and so they're allocated a certain amount of tips, and so do hosts. We all we all have a point system. So um, so a lot of the complaints were saying, like, there was a lot of complaints around why are hosts making the same amount of money as supports or more, when supports are the ones that are busting their ass, moving, and like interacting with the guests and having to deal with the guests um, firsthand, or like more. There's just a lot more stress involved, I feel like. And you know what? I think honestly, from my opinion, I think they're right. I feel like supports bust their ass. They have to be helping the servers. They're much more in contact with the guests through a longer period of time. So how come they're making the same amount or less than the hosts? And I think I agree with that. But at the same time, um, when I was listening to this, I realized, I was like, what good would me thinking in this way make for me? Does it help me to think about how much money I'm making in comparison to the hosts? Not really. Can I change it? Not really. So why am I thinking about it? And and then I realized that, well, I have to think about it from an internal perspective, because it's not going to help me if I'm thinking about it from an external perspective. From the external perspective, it doesn't make sense. From the internal perspective, I know I can make it make sense, because I know how to play and align myself in a way that allows me to feel good about where I'm at. So I brought this concept into being, reflected on it, and I realized, well, at the end of the day, I'm still making more money than I have ever made in my life. I'm making it consistently, and even though it might be a few hundred, it's still a step up from where I've been. I've been a server at a restaurant before, and I made around 4K, but it wasn't really that consistent. here I'm making around 4K, and it's way more consistent than ever before. And I'm only working 4 days a week. So, and also, I'm a lot closer to, I'm a lot more focused in terms of like where I want to be in my life. Back then, um, I didn't really know where I wanted to be. So I didn't really know where to put my money. So my money wasn't really being as well spent as now. Excuse me, I'm like yawning. I just woke up. So I had to think about it in these terms, and I realized, okay, this actually makes me feel good. And even though, yes, some people might be making more money, I also don't know where they are at individually. They might be needing the money more than I do, or they just have more experience than I do, or maybe they've been in this restaurant industry much longer than I have. I've been here maybe like 3 years now, 3 years probably, yeah, in the restaurant industry. In comparison to everybody else, I don't know, like I don't know people's story, you know. So who am I to say that I deserve more money than they do? And if I'm working under a system, then I have to, understand that I took that in, I accepted that, and that if I want to move in the system, then like I have to work with the system. I have to work with the system. So then that also means that I'm not going to be fighting it. I'm not going to be critiquing it. And if I do have an issue with it, then I'll bring it up with my superiors. And that's the only thing I really need to do. So when it comes to it never being about it never being about getting the thing, in this circumstance, getting the thing means me making more money than the hostess, means me being recognized as being more valuable than the role of the host. And but yet I had to think about it from an internal perspective and think about whether that's even something that I want. For these people, for my coworkers that are complaining, that is something that they want. But really, is it really what they want? Because I don't think it really is. I think people at the end of the day just want to complain about things, and there's something deeper at the core. Maybe they're unhappy with the job. Maybe they don't feel acknowledged. And so like the thing is, here another perspective, it never really is about getting the thing. Like it never for the people outside of me. Is it really about getting the thing? Is it really about getting the promotion? Because in their lives, I also don't know what they're going through. So then if I get involved in their complaints and I take on their complaints and I take on the same mindset, then I'm taking on the mindset of somebody not knowing where it's really coming from, not knowing the intention. So was it ever really about getting the thing, or was it really more about them feeling like they needed to vent or they needed to complain? And here I am taking on that energy and just becoming a bot, becoming a replica of these people. So that's another game. That's another perspective there. There's many perspectives here that we can take. But let's move on to the next one on promotion when it comes to work. So for me, I realized that, for example, I realized in my work that I have the ability to get a promotion, and I am probably the most qualified person of the people around me to get a promotion. And I only say this because, well, I have server experience, and I also have the mentality to grow. And there's been a thing that's happened that, like, there's been many people in my position that have wanted to become a server, and it seems like they all have given up on the position, or they're very or they're salty about it, because it seems like the standards now for getting promoted as a busser have gotten much higher. So now we could say that I got the short end of the stick, because the busters before me were able to get promoted to being servers, whereas now it's a lot more difficult to do so. There's a higher expectation. The higher ups are requiring more of us, so things have become a lot more difficult to get promoted. And so I got into a confrontation with my managers, because I felt like I wasn't being talked to very transparently. The expectations weren't being discussed. I was only being thrown side to side, but being dismissed. Oh yeah, we'll talk about it. And I'd have to keep reaching out and taking on the approach of being like, hey, what's going on? Like, how do I want to be a server? What do I need to do, etc., etc. And I was never getting any feedback. any proactive actions on their part. And so I had got into a confrontation, and finally we talked about it, and it seemed like I got tested, and then I got my feedback, and I realized that, I mean, yes, there's a lot of room for me to improve. I did realize that maybe I'm not at that level yet, but I'm willing to be. So I let them know. And throughout this time, from an exterior perspective, I've also realized I've been questioning the servers, and they don't even meet the expectations that the managers put. They expect us to know a lot about cocktails, a lot of like very intricate details about the menu. But when I've asked the servers around me, it doesn't seem like they know it at that level. And this isn't taking away from them. I think everybody does a great job. It's just more so me recognizing that there's not an alignment between what is and what is being required of me. So it's almost like a slap two times, because not only did the busters before us not have the same expectations, and I'm having to work harder, but also the servers around me don't have the same expectations, because they obviously don't have the same knowledge that the managers are asking of us. Like even the feedback that they gave me, I see servers that don't follow those same guidelines. So, from an exterior perspective, I'm listing it out. Um, I would be getting the short end of the stick. This would not be fair. And I would be very frustrated because I'm not getting the thing, being the promotion in this circumstance. And so I'd just be bitching about it and end up quitting or leaving, or just giving up, or just giving up, settling, and just staying as a busser. But for me, knowing that an application here of not getting the thing, knowing that I recognize that it isn't really about the promotion. It's about me. It's about the story that I have. It's about the money that I'm making. It's about the skills that I'm learning. It's about my internal growth. So I recognize that, you know what? I haven't been taking this server thing seriously. I have had the opportunity to get promoted in the past. I've had a manager come to me. He's not there anymore. But he would come to me and ask me if I knew my menu. And had I known my menu, I would have gotten promoted in that moment. But this is all on me. I recognize that I wasn't ready. I wasn't in that mindset to get promoted. And now that I do want it, I recognize that things have changed. The manager isn't there anymore. And there has been a change in expectations also, which is completely fine, because I know when to take accountability. And I also know when an opportunity is presented to me and when to take it on. So I understand now that there's still an opportunity. My managers are still giving me feedback. They're still working with me. There's still there's a conversations back and forth. They are trying to meet me where I'm at, and so I do recognize that also. And from an internal perspective now that I have taken on, I recognize that being where I'm at, I'm not going to be getting another job anywhere else. I don't think about changing careers. The only thing I care about is making enough money so that I can continue to do what I love to do, which is YouTube videos, which is talking about spirituality, which is learning, which is studying, creating content, and really just like dancing, having fun. I just want to make enough money to be able to do that and build businesses, build systems that can allow me to continue to further the expansion of my being. That's all I care about. So meanwhile, I'm not gonna change industries, so I'm still gonna be here, and until I manage to create a sustainable enough system where I can do this full time, where I can do all of these things full time. Until I do that, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be in the restaurant industry. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to get into hospitality and see it as my career, because I haven't been seeing that. I've been seeing it as a side gig, or as like something part-time, something short-term. But with this commitment now of me seeing this as a career, I understand that I can still be doing better. I understand that there's a lot of things that I need to know. I understand that I'm really not the best that I could be, even though I do have a lot of although I am a good worker, I'm also efficient. I'm very quick, and I'm good under pressure. That still doesn't mean that I have all my menu knowledge. I have my cocktail knowledge. I have the knowledge that a great server would have. So I've taken this on as an opportunity to further my career, to further my ability to make money. By becoming a server, I develop skills that will allow me to go anywhere. So even though I might not get the promotion here, I can still use this space to develop my craft, to develop a skill. I can still go in and learn something every day. I can study my menus. I can look into courses. I can take on coaching. I could take on, I could watch YouTube videos. I can connect with other servers online. There's a whole world here left for me to tune into. And if I can take advantage of that, naturally my income will improve. Because being a server right now would mean like making 1.5 to 2K a month more working the amount that I'm working. So I'd be going from 4K to 6K, which would be great. And to me, like, relatively though, there's my other mindset that's like, well, I'm learning to day trade. So within who knows how long, it could be months, it can be years, it can be next month, it could be next year, it doesn't matter. But I understand that I'll be making way more money than that in the future because I'll be day trading. But until that happens, I still need to do this. And so that's the thing, like, at the end of the day, it's not about me making more money. It's about me being in a position where I'm naturally just growing, and I'm naturally just building the skills and competency needed to serve the world, and in return the world will serve me back, will pay me back for my services. So like, me being a server, it's an opportunity. These higher standards, etc., all these things that they put on us, I'm deciding to take them on and exceed them. And in that goal, I have calmed down. The work has been much more enjoyable. I've been able to connect with my manager a lot more. It's led me to opportunities that I never thought would be there, and it's led me to really take my job like more seriously. So there's another thing, it's not about the promotion in this perspective. It's about me putting myself in a place to get a promotion, but even more so than that, it's like me putting myself in a place where I'm not limited. I'm not limited by a place. I can go, like, the way I see it, like, even if I do get the promotion, I'm not gonna stay there for long, because I see servers there that don't like their job, and I question, like, maybe it's just because they're not in a place where they see the value in it, or they've outgrown it. And for me, it's like, I want to continue to keep growing and growing, and so I can see myself easily making 10K a month as a server. Will it be this year? Probably not. Will it be next year? Maybe. It can definitely happen within the next few years, but that's not the end goal at the end of the day. It's about me seeing opportunities to continue to further my growth. So if you're struggling through a promotion, it's not about getting the thing. It's about putting yourself in a place where you for sure know, like, without the shadow of a doubt, that you are meant to be there, and that you are meant to that you are appreciated, that you are valued. That's really the end goal. So that's my example with work. Now I'm gonna go on with my marriage, with relationships. When it comes to marriage, I got married with my wife very early. We met and I proposed within 2 to 3 weeks. She said yes. It was a proposal over the phone, super spontaneous. But we agreed on a few things. We agreed that we wanted to get together and that we wanted to serve the world. I told her that I wanted to change the world. I wanted to help people understand who they are, and that was my goal. That's the main thing that I cared about. That was my heart and soul. And if I wanted to get married, I wanted it so that my partner can help me achieve that goal. And she was interested. It was something that she was willing to commit to. And then we did get married, but now we're in a position here, like a month ago, I got to a place where I just got comfortable. I was making a good amount of money, or I am making a good amount of money, and I was stressing out about my business, and I just said, fuck it, like, I'm just gonna take it chill for now. I'm just gonna give up on my dreams. It's just been too stressful. I want to be able to be there for my wife. I want to be able to be there for my son. I wanted to just be able to enjoy my life. And I did. And then during that time, well, that's when I started Lucid Vlogs, and that's when I started this new approach to business that I'm taking. And yet though, I found myself spending more money than I have before. I found myself getting into more arguments with my wife. I found myself just struggling to figure out, like, why do I feel like so lazy, you know? And I mean, obviously I gave up on my dream, so the ambition is gone. And then that led to my marriage, and my marriage took a hit. Like, we're struggling, we're like having more arguments. My wife is a lot more unhappy, and then like I'm questioning myself, and I'm like, what is it? What's the problem? And then I realized it's because we're not staying true to the commitment that we made as a couple, to this goal, to this dream. And I understood that because I told myself, I made a conscious decision, I'm gonna step back. But it did affect our marriage. And then I realized, like, it can't just be about the marriage itself. It can't just be about in this perspective, getting the dream partner, because that was the goal at the beginning. This is kind of more of a perspective after I've gotten the thing. My wife is everything that I wished for when it comes to the partner that I wanted for my life. To achieve this dream, the characteristics, the interests, the passions that we share, all of that, they're perfect. They're in complete alignment with who I wanted, what I needed for achieving my goals. And I got her, but I've been recognizing it's been a theme over and over. It's never been about the marriage. It's never been about getting the person. It's been about what you're working towards together, the challenges that you're facing together, the growth that you're experiencing together. It has to be a conscious decision. You guys have to grow together in a conscious manner, setting goals together, planning together, but more importantly, having a vision that you share that brings you together. And so I recognize that, and I need to put this out there because I realize that a lot of people, once they get the thing, they settle and they don't know where to go from next. But at the end of the day, it's never been about the thing. It's been about what you do with the thing. What's the next step? And although this might seem like me pushing the grind set, right? Like, grind, keep grinding, never stop, never settle. It's not really what I'm trying to push here. What I'm trying to push here is more like it's more of a transcendent mindset where it's not more just about growth or getting the thing. It's about transcending and including it. So, like, transcend and include it. Use the marriage as a platform. Use your promotion as a platform. Use your job as a platform. Use your money as a platform to further enhance your growth. That's really the lesson here. But when it comes to how this example fits into what I'm talking about, in marriage, it's important to have a vision. It's important to be it being more than just a marriage. At the end of the day, the way I see marriage is also like a business. It's not about the thing itself. It's about using the thing to a purpose, for a purpose. So that's another lesson, right, from my relationship, that it's never been about getting the thing. It's never been about getting the girl. It's never been about getting the perfect partner. It's about more than that. Alright, another example. Animation. This is a quick one, but when I was learning to animate, or I've been learning to animate, and taking on this mindset, like, it's not about the final product. It's about the process, right? So I'll explain this very quickly. It's when you're learning. I was learning, and I had this ambitious goal of trying to, like, get more on my plate. So try to do as much as I can. Like, you can choose like an easy mode in the courses that I'm taking, or you can choose like a harder mode. The easier mode has less pieces to animate. You don't have to think too much. It's not going to be as complicated, but it's still something for you to at least apply the lessons that you have learned from the course. And the course is very much based on these like projects that they give you. They give you like a project that you work on, and if you can achieve that, if you can, they just ask that you apply the skills that you learned that they taught. And recently I took on like the harder mode, and I was trying to really do this like really complicated animation, but I ended up spending hours on it, and it didn't turn out the way I wanted. It actually was pretty shit from my perspective. And but it was fine. Like, I realized that at the end of the day, I used the animations, I did use the skills, but the result wasn't really what I intended it to be. And I realized that I think I should dial it back, go back to the easy mode, and just just really take my time on that. And yet, though, the reason why I didn't feel so bad, I feel like a regular person would have been like, shit, like, I can't do it. I'm not there. I'm not at that level. I'm not that good. Maybe I should quit, or maybe I should stop, etc. Like, I don't experience that at all anymore. When it comes to learning, I don't experience that at all, because I understand that at the end of the day, it's all about just application. It's about developing the skills. So even though you do fail, you're gonna fail, but you learn the skills to be able to make a better one next time, and that's all it's about. So it's not about getting the thing. It's not about getting the achievement of having made the thing. It's about just being involved in that process, so that the next time you make another one, or the next time you try, you know better. You have more experience. You have more knowledge, and that's really it's really that simple. And now the final example is going to be on manifestation. This all ties in to manifestation. It's all tied, and I'm taking a page from Abraham Hicks' book here, where she talks about how the process is supposed to be enjoyable. At the end of the day, we are infinite beings striving for further discovery, further creation, further, she calls the word contrast. Contrast being being able to see what you don't want and being able to see what you do want. So whenever you experience failure and you feel negative about it, well, that's you experiencing contrast. You experiencing something that you don't want. But that is okay, because by knowing what you don't want, you also realize what you do want. And so being able to get into this process of creation, the process of creation is the joy of life. That is what we are here to experience and to enjoy. And what I realized when it comes to manifestation is that when you want to manifest, it's never been about the manifestation itself. You can only achieve manifestation once you got into this rhythm, this state of being of surrender, where you don't really need the manifestation, where you're operating from a state of being where you've already had the manifestation. And so believing or feeling and embodying leads to a course of action and intention that is unrestricted, that is free-flowing, that is full of inspiration, that is energetic, that is inspirational, that is free, that is creative. So entering that state of being versus being in the state of being of I'm trying to accomplish this thing is very limiting. Compare those two. Compare the mindset of I'm growing, I'm expanding, I'm trying to create, I'm just creating, I'm going with what I love, I'm following my bliss, I'm following my flow, versus I'm trying to achieve this thing, I'm trying to set these goals, I'm trying to accomplish these goals. Both of those are very different. One is more restrictive, one is free. And the difference is that when you get the thing, for example, when you get the thing, well, you don't really care anymore for it too much, right? Because you already have it. So the desire you have has already been achieved. So then you're going to be going on to the next thing. And what I realized, and this channel is a complete example of this. I believe that this channel right now, the success that I've been experiencing right now from this channel, is something that I haven't achieved in any other YouTube channel that I have. Especially doing it the way that I'm doing, which is just like no high production, just not even editing thumbnails, just me putting it out there into the world, me speaking my truth, which is really what I desired at the end of the day. But this came from me also, during that period of me getting lazy, me giving up on my dreams, it came from me just saying, well, what would be something that I would do even if I did give up, right? And also, it came down to me saying something like, well, why am I trying to prove myself? Why am I trying to prove myself to everybody's idea of success, of the fact that I'm doing it right? That really was what it came down to. I realized that I was striving to fit these narratives of what success is, and trying to fit that so that I can show people that I am successful. Trying to show people that I do know what I'm talking about. So that kind of restricted me in trying to in putting my content out there, because it wasn't perfect. It wasn't, the thumbnail wasn't there. There wasn't enough animation in there. There wasn't enough edits. I needed more time. I needed more money. That's where I was. That was the mindset I was for like the past 6 months. And then when I gave up on it, I also realized, at the end of the day, it's like the same principles apply. And things in my life that I realized is that it's never been about getting the thing. So why am I acting like it? Why am I acting like I'm striving to get the accomplishment? And I realized, well, if it's not about getting the thing, then why don't I just act like I already have it? Why am I trying to prove it to people? Why don't I just show it? Why don't I just talk to the people that I really want to talk to, instead of trying to prove it to the people that I don't give a fuck about? Which I do, which is, now I don't give a fuck about. But I wanted to show these people that I didn't give a fuck about them by, like, I don't know, it's just this game that you play, bro. But in reality, what I wanted to do was just, like, show people, like, all the shit that, all the doubts that I've had. Maybe they're just projections too. Maybe people don't really give a fuck either. But all the doubts that I had within myself of whether I could make it. Just to prove myself. I was just trying to do things just to prove myself that I was good. But nah, it wasn't about that. It was me. It was just more about me being like, well, if I already am a teacher, if I already know what I'm talking about, then I don't have to prove that to anybody. I'm just gonna put it out there into the world, and the people who find it will find it, and it'll resonate with them, and that's it. And so, lo and behold, this was born from me being lazy. This was born from me not even caring anymore. And now, coming back to it, like I achieved this this success that I have so far, and now I have the thing. I have the following. I have the recognition. I have the voice. I have the proof, right? I have the proof. I have the acknowledgement. But it came from me saying it wasn't about getting that thing. It was about me acting from a place where I already have that thing, and understanding that I already do have it, and I never needed the thing to understand that I have it, because at the end of the day, it was about me recognizing my worth. It was about me saying fuck it to everything else, and just knowing that, committing to the process of me living my life authentically. This is just a result of that. So hopefully those 4 different examples help you out. I really like it. If you're listening, like, when I talk, it's never about the label. It's about the feeling of the label. Try to follow my intention. The vocabulary that I use is only pointing to something deeper. So in the future, if you ever get confused, or if you're, like, understand that I'm not talking from a perspective of a regular day-to-day. Like, even my definition of success is not the same definition as everybody else's. So for your understanding, just make sure that I think I'm realizing that I want to use stories more often. Like, I want to use more examples, because stories kind of convey a feeling. They convey a lesson, and that allows me to kind of connect it with the concept. And so with more stories, I kind of, like, really add more depth to the concept, more understanding, and more points for you to connect with, and that will allow you to really understand it. But that's it for this video. I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for allowing me to wake up with you, because, like, I was just yawning. here with the sun, so we're getting that daylight, getting that vitamin D. And yeah, I got work soon, so I gotta start getting ready. But you already know, you know how it goes. Remember, stay lucid. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.